Beautiful butterflies. How y'all doing this Friday afternoon? I'm early, I know it, but I got things I got to do at the time I normally come on. So I thought, I done told y'all I'm gonna pop on when I feel like it. So you need to listen because that's what I'm telling you. What I'm gonna do is what I'm gonna do, okay? But I had a subscriber who sent me a message about 3 weeks ago, and she actually wanted to talk about Donald, the ex-president, Donald Trump. And I guess she thought, well, Ms.V ain't gonna tackle that. Wrong. It takes time when you're trying to address an issue like that was ongoing. And there is a time and there is a place for everything. And the timing wasn't right. Ongoing. And there is a time and there is a place for everything. And the timing wasn't right. Okay, I had to turn down that other phone, the one I read my comments on. Anyway, let me make sure this one is down. Also, it is. Okay, so there's a timing for everything, and the timing was not right at that particular time. So I waited until the day came when he went to court to see what the outcome was going to be because I didn't want to come out and do commentary on the issue and it hadn't been resolved yet. And it's still a little bit in limbo because everything is not finalized with that. So tonight we're going to talk about the Donald Trump conviction, the New York jury that convicted him, the trial of the former president, the verdict, what the trial consisted of, what prosecutors did, what could be his sentence, final sentence. And there's a question that still remains about Mr. Trump. A sentence date, when we'll get it, and what his punishments could be. The appellate court process. So tonight you'll get a little education, inspiration, motivation, slight humor, because that's what this channel is all about. Good evening to all my sugar wiggers coming in. Greetings, and happy Friday to you. I hope you've had a truly blessed and enjoyable day. It's been good. Let's get into it. I'm going to a pool party, so I'm dressed for the pool. As soon as I click off of here. But I couldn't take y'all to the pool party because there's music there. You know, when you go to parties, they're going to have music. So if I want to monetize it, I can take y'all, but I won't get paid for it. And that don't make sense. So, and then I got to come back in and edit it and all of that. It's too much. So y'all just know Ms.V is at the pool party, okay? After the live. All right, let's get into this. So Donald Trump, convicted on all charges in hush money trial. Got on new lipstick. It's getting on my teeth. That's that all day lipstick. I can already tell I don't like it. It feels chapped on your lips. Then I had to try it. This is the second time I've tried it. So he faces multiple criminal indictments. But his New York hush money case is the only one that is expected to make it to the court in November, sometimes around the November election. Now, I think we're all abreast that he is running for president again. And we're going to talk about that and what he can or what he can't. Took time for research this. Y'all got to be patient with Ms.V. Timing is everything. Patience is everything. Remember I told you that. So a New York jury convicted him on Wednesday and Thursday. They were in court. In barely 5 months of his election, where he is seeking to capture the White House. Okay? I see your comment, Keisha, and he says, sad but true, he can still be president. And you are correct. We'll get to that. Hey, go get and everybody else that came in. Let me pull up and see who's in here. Chef Mac, what man you going to see? Oops. Chef Mac, every time I fool with you, I mess up. At the pool, that ain't none of your business. Right now, we talking about the ex-president of the United States of America. Okay? Subel is in the building, asking questions that ain't none of her business. Hey, Vonda, how you doing? Happy Friday to you. You ring the bell, and I certainly appreciate that. Hello, Miss Gail, Mr. Gisty, and I think I'm back up to the top. Okay? So, Keisha saying she had to do research on it yesterday. Very good. Then you can keep up with what I'm talking about and maybe add something to the conversation. This is the first time historically that we've had a criminal trial of a former U.S. president ending with a 77-year-old Trump being found guilty on each of the 34 charges of falsifying business records to hide a payment meant to silence porn star Stormy Daniels. Hey, Stoney, how you doing? Now, keep in mind as I go along with this ain't no bashing. This ain't telling you I like him or I don't like him. This ain't my opinion of him. This is facts. This is what has been brought out in the court of law. And it's public for everybody to go and look at it, research it, and do whatever you want to. Good evening, Miss Elaine. Trump, who is all but certain to appeal. Remember, I told you that now. Did not immediately react, but sat still with his shoulders dipping. The conviction thrust the United States into an uncharted political territory, but does not bar Trump from a White House run, even if the judge, Juan Marchant, sentences him to prison time. Can still run. Let me go over and tell you some other people that ran also. There was a socialist candidate named Eugene V. Debs, and he ran for president for the fifth time back in 1920. So this is not the first time that anything like this has occurred. It's the first time with a U.S. president, ex-U.S. president. These people ran for the office that I'm fixing to talk about here, but they never got to president. So this person, this Eugene V. Debs, ran 5 times back in the 1920s. While in prison, he did this for sedation. And then not too long ago, Governor of Texas, Rick Perry, ran for president alongside Trump for the 2016 Republican Party election. He was indicted 2 years before he ran opposed to Trump for abuse of official capacity and coercion of a public official. He dropped out of the race a few months before the primary. So I just want to throw that in so you would know this ain't the first time this has happened. He makes history because he's the first ex-president that actually was president of the United States. These other people ran. Okay? That's the difference. The verdict comes just a few weeks before the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, where Trump is due to receive the party's formal nomination to face Democratic Party Joe Biden on November the 5th, which will be Election Day. The 12 members of the jury deliberated for more than 11 hours. It's a long time. Over 2 days. And at the end of the extraordinary 5th week trial, 5 weeks, 11 hours over 2 days. It's a lot of taxpayers' money, isn't it? Okay. I see. I be looking at things differently. I don't be seeing things not necessarily as they go down. And it was held in a drab Manhattan courthouse. I see somebody made a comment. Let me go back up and get them so we can keep up and keep along. I am here. I see you to gist. Our politicians are crafted. Oh, okay. Let's see. All right. My only question, how can anyone say the judge and the jury is able to fairly judge a person most people have strong feelings about either way? You'll never be able to say that a person can judge anyone fairly because it's going to be based upon how they feel about that person and the evidence that is presented to them. They just are supposed to be non-biased, but we all know we have feelings and emotions for people. You see it out here on YouTube every day. People out here wrong as two left shoes, but they still have an audience. They still have a following because some people just gonna like them just because. They don't have to tell the truth. They don't have to have anything particular to talk about on the platform other than somebody else. That's just life. That's just the way it is. And it'll always be that way. Never would you ever know it to be fair. It would almost have to be a computer doing it, where you just putting information in the computer and then the computer spits you back out an answer based on what people said. Now, if it was set up like that, you probably it would be more believable. But when it comes down to people and their emotions and their ties and their strings with other people, I could never say it would ever be fair. Spitfire. Good evening and welcome to Chatting with Ms.V. You live in Milwaukee, okay? According to the jury selection process alone, the jury is not allowed to know who they are to try. In this case, sometimes you will know if it's small time stuff on a smaller basis. Yet there were asked to leave if they had feelings and half stayed. Flawed, if you ask me. The couple of times I have gone up to be a juror, I never was. I've never been in all these 70 years. I've never ever made it past the questioning. Because it was always, do you have a relative that work in law enforcement? Yes. See you. I've never been a jury just for that one question. So I don't know what goes on behind those doors once you're selected to be a jury. Okay? Hey, Miss Deborah Silva, Miss Lisa, good evening to you. Natrum, did you hear about Donald Trump's guilty and non-guilty scores? I did not know about the scores, but what I do know about, I will be bringing it to you this evening, okay? All righty. When judging, you are to look only at the facts and the evidence presented. Exactly. And that's why I say that's where the bias is going to come in, because that's what I was saying earlier to Auntie, that you're only supposed to look at what's presented to you. You're not even supposed to look at the news. A lot of times they have them sequestered where they're just in there with themselves. They don't need cell phones. They don't want them connected to the outside world alone. Period. But some kind of way, they get news. They had a 34 guilty score and a 0 non-guilty score. Wow. I didn't know what the scores were. I knew he was convicted on 34 counts, but I didn't know it was 0 non-guilty. Wow. Well, I'm not surprised either. A or D, it's a passing grade, guilty. Okay, says Miss Spitfire Shine. I've been a juror several times, didn't like it, but I am a voter, so I couldn't complain. Yes, whenever you're a voter, sooner or later, they're going to call you. And one time, back when I was working in the plant, baby, they was calling me every time you turned around. It didn't matter to me because I was still going to be paid. But I've had some jobs where you don't get paid for that day when you called in to go down there to be a jury. Only thing you get is that little $10, $12, whatever they paying you now. And then you have to turn around here and put that in the parking meter. And it costs you that much to put in the parking meter, the $10 you're going to make all day. So you actually miss money that whole day if you work for a company that didn't pay you. Now, when I was at the plant, okay, that was fine. But when I was in my own business, if I ain't in there working, I'm not making money. No. All right, so moving on. Prosecutors successfully laid out a case alleging that the hush money and the illegal covering up of the payment was part of a broader scheme or a crime to prevent voters from knowing about Trump's behavior. Let me get into my chat. Mr. Trump is a very conversational figure, like him or not. Biden would not have been able to go through that process objectively either. Quite a precedent to set. Maybe we can go after Clinton. No, actually, we can't do that. I mean, those days are over. And I'm not going to say what Biden could or could not do, because I haven't seen him say anything much in the last couple of years. I mean, I've heard a lot about what he was doing and his memory, but I think both of them are having some memory lapses right about now. And that's what I don't really want to get into, is their personalities. I want to stay really with the topic of what has happened to them or him in the news in the last couple of days. Because in my opinion, they both are too old to be running. Okay? And I don't know why we couldn't find somebody else on both parties that was a little younger, that was over 35 years old, born here in this country. And what else? It's 3 things that they have to do to be able to run for president. And I wrote them down. I know it's be over 35. I get to it. Let me keep on with my conversation. Okay. Right, I was working and I didn't get paid. A lot of jobs are like that. Okay, let me stop right there. Trump's defense attorneys had countered that trying to influence an election was simply a democracy, and that the former president did nothing wrong. Now, this what his defense attorneys were trying to tell the American people, the jury, everybody, okay? The trial has distracted Trump from his campaign to unseat Biden. However, he milked the media attention throughout with his daily speeches in front of the cameras, outside the cameras, in the courtroom, and in which he complained about being a political victim. Alrighty, just my opinion, but I look at a bigger picture instead of being caught up in the emotions that they want us to focus on. Bigger picture, can we imprison political opponents now? No. Can you imprison them? Yes. Can he run for president? Yes. Yeah. Okay, Notram is thanking you, Auntie, for explaining that. I did not know how to word it. Okay. Could or could not. Good evening, Carla. How are you? All right. So I'm going to stop there again. The jurors were kept secret, a rare practice which is most often seen involving mafia or other violent defenders. Of course, Trump denied ever having sex with Stormy Daniels in 2006, at a celebrity golf tournament, and he opted not to testify. Okay? I think I was right here with Auntie. I was trying to figure out if this sets the expectation we can retroactively go back to try others. It's a statute of limitation on things. I don't know what it is, but if you talk about the Clintons, it's way too late. It's a risky move just to stick it to Trump. We'll see. All right. Hey, Vivian, how are you this evening? All righty. What's 14, Keisha? 7 gram, nice outfit, sis. You're looking good. I'm going to the pool. This is actually my swimsuit up underneath here. It's just a cover up. That's it. They're having a little pool party downstairs, so when I get off the live, I'm headed down there. Okay, Trump is a Republican who made a name for himself as a real estate mogul before a stunning win to the nation's highest office in 2016 election. Now faces prison or more likely probation. And I said more likely probation because I don't foresee them sending him to prison knowing that he's running for president of the United States again, and it's going to be so close to that time, I think everything is going to get pushed back to see if he wins. If he wins, the best he'll get is probation. They can't do anything to a sitting president. That's why he got off the last time when he was in office, and they just had to just hold back until he got out of office. Then this time around, if everything is not resolved before November the 5th and he gets in there, then he know he has another 4 years that they can't touch him under no circumstances. You have to understand the political process and the political game that can be played out there, and how much pull and how much power one man can have once he's held that office. All right, let's see. Is Trump convicted yet? How? Okay, they convicted him on 34 counts, like I said in the very beginning. It was either Wednesday or yesterday. I don't remember which one. But they have not sentenced him to anything yet. We'll get to all of that. If so, how can a criminal run for a president? Doesn't matter whether he's a criminal or not. He can still run for president of the United States. I know it sounds strange and indifferent, but that's the law. It doesn't stop him. Okay? The only thing can stop him is you if you choose not to vote for him. All right. Let's see. Hello, MP. Like I said, they did say his scores were 34-0. Could not both affect the election in 2024. We're just going to have to wait and see how it's going to affect. Now, I know this time around, he didn't get the accolades and he didn't get the people out like he did before. We're mostly Hispanic here in South Texas. And he carried a lot of Hispanic votes last time. But this time around, they did not come out like they did before. And I was reading, it was other places he has gone that he has not gotten the support that he has gotten before. So it could be more than just these cases, too. Remember when the pandemic hit? Who was in office? Was he not left a, what do you want to call it, a prescription or what instructions on what to do in case this happened? Yes, he was. Did he believe in it? Think back. You answer that. What did he say? It was nothing to worry about. 100,000 of people were dying every day. My husband happened to be one of those people. Okay. All right. I really think it should be age limit on president. I really agree with that. I mean, you may not know this if you're not my age. If you're in your late 60s, early 70s or in your 70s or past that, you know doggone well you can't think like you used to. You can't move like you used to. Nothing remains the same. Your brain don't function as fast as it used to. I mean, I was sharp as a young woman. I think I do all right now, but even when y'all write stuff now, I have to really read it, not only because you may write it and mean one thing and I pick it up and it's another thing. And that could happen at any age. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell somebody, no, I don't see it that way when we saying the same thing. That has happened out here before. Okay? All right. In theory, he could face up to 4 years in jail for each count of falsifying business records. But legal experts said, as a first time offender, he is unlikely to go behind bars. Now, that should have answered a whole lot of questions right there to Gisty. All right, let's see what Auntie is saying. Fun fact, Trump was a Democrat till he ran in 2016, as he felt the existing Democrat Party was hijacked at the time by Marxists. Anyone can pick the umbrella. Republican Party was started by freed slaves. Fact. Okay, my daddy was a Republican when they first gave them the opportunity to vote. I remember him being Republican, and then it must have been, I guess, over in the 70s, he switched over to the Democratic Party. Cheryl P., hello, good evening, how you doing? So now you know he could get up to 4 years, but he could go to jail or he could get probation. And because it's the first time offense, he probably will get probation. Statistic: in Ethiopia, presidents are between the ages of 45 and 65, and it ought to cut off right there at 65. I mean, if you ain't made it by 65, I just don't want older people, because I'm an older person. So I know we wake up with aches and pains and can't get around like we used to. And I know our brain is not as cognitive as it used to be. So I just wish we would establish that here in America. Start them, and you got 30 years to get it. If you don't get it in them 30 years, there's time to go home. Do something different. Okay, let's see. Auntie, I'm a history student for life. I read how the first freed slaves started the Republican Party. Mr. Booker Washington was heavily involved. 70s Democrats were true to themselves, Kennedy, etc. And that's when most of them went over in the Kennedy era to the Democratic Party. Keisha's saying 4 years per the charge. Okay. Did it say that, Keisha? Was it just 4 years? In theory, he could face up to 4 years in jail for each count. Yes, you're correct. Of falsifying business records. So that could be the rest of his life with 34 convictions, which wouldn't be good. That's what Kay Harris here. I'm not sure what she's saying, Spitfire. Okay, but anyway. Should he win the presidency, he will not be able to pardon himself. That's another thing that you have to think about too. Any other time, he has pardoned people, and if he hadn't done these crimes that he's been convicted of, he would have been able to pardon himself if it had been a misdemeanor crime, but not on these crimes. Given that the case was not brought by the federal government, but by the state of New York, where only the governor could clear his name. So see, he still has an out there also. Whoever is governor after November the 5th, if he gets the presidency, they can clear. And it's over again. A lot of power there. A lot of pull there. Dip feels that Trump is not guilty. We all have our opinions, but this is not about whether he's guilty or not guilty. Don't take him out. Okay, this is not about whether he's guilty or not guilty because we are not the judge and we weren't the jury. We have to go by what the legal process is, Dip. And so if they say he is guilty, then that is what we have to go by. We can feel, and that can be our opinion all day long. It doesn't make it true or false. All right. Let's see. Harris here to assist Biden. Okay. Mr. Jesse, are you Ethiopian? Yes, she is. No, no. Okay, I don't want to change the topic. I just love that oldest found book in the Bible. Okay, it's about facts. There was no evidence. Okay, we're not arguing over here at all. We're going by what was presented to us. 34 counts guilty is what was given to us by the jury. Now, like I keep telling you, you can write all you want to. It's not going to change what has happened. That's your opinion, Dip. Okay? All right. He was found guilty. That's it. All right. I have to go along with you, Keisha. That's right, ma'am. 34 counts guilty. Okay? So, Trump also faces federal and state charges of conspiring to overturn the results of the 2020 election won by Biden and for hoarding secret documents after leaving the White House. See what you're saying, Dip? I am saying there was a judge who contended to Clinton, so who was brought out, so that doesn't matter. What did the jury say, Dip? Okay, Callie, let's hope that when Trump is re-elected, he treats the enemies of the people as well as they have treated him. I don't really, it doesn't really affect me at all. And from my point of view, I'm on a fixed income for the rest of my life and he can't do anything about it. I work for the retirement. I paid into the Social Security. That is two fixed incomes that's going to be there for the rest of my life. So no matter what he does or what he says, I'm going to be able to live off of that. Okay? And that ain't got nothing to do with any other money coming in. And that's how I look at it. Evidence, paperwork, and recordings. Okay, Spitfire? Okay, we don't care about none of that, Dip. We're speaking about what Trump was found guilty of by a jury of his peers. Exactly, Keisha. But you know, people have to come in and try to argue what has already happened. And that's why I did not bring it out here until he was convicted. I don't want to say nothing about it. Even though the lady asked me 3 weeks ago to come out and talk about it. I said to myself, nope, because of people like that who are going to come in with their opinion. They love him so much until they didn't look at nothing the jury said or why the jury said that or why the judge went along with it. You didn't have to go along with it. Okay. Even when Trump gave up his presidential salary to Social Security, it was a nice gesture, but it only increased it a little. Because the presidents don't make that much money. They're only making 200 some $1,000s a year. You got a lot of people in the world make way more money than the president. It's not about the money that they make. It's the power that they have and all the freebies that they get. He's got, we're paying for Secret Service for all of these living presidents. Every last one of them got Secret Service. We're paying for that until they demise. Think about that. He could have gave up the Secret Service and got his own. And that would have saved more money than his salary. Because we don't know how long he's going to live. Okay, yes, they get about $250,000 salary. Honestly, Ms.V, I'm glad you don't discuss politics. I don't. I don't care too much for discussing politics because, and this is the first time out, and probably the last time, unless it comes down to election, I'll talk about it then. But It doesn't bother me what people say. That's why when Dip came in and he was saying what he was saying, I went back up to make sure he wasn't deleted. I wanted to hear what he had to say because I knew it was off topic when he said he was not guilty. You were not there. You were not a jury. You were not a judge. You weren't even sitting in the courtroom. But in your head, that's what you want to believe. Then believe what you want to believe then. Okay? Politics is dirty. It's a dirty game. It really is. And there are going to be some people that like him. There's going to be some people that don't like him. Some people going to like you and some people ain't going to like you. But one thing I'm not going to do, I don't care who it is, like or not like, I'm not going along with you when you're wrong. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat nothing he did one time good for 34 times bad. If he did it and it was wrong, it was wrong. That's from chatting with Ms.V, okay? And that's how I feel about anybody, okay? He ain't did nothing for me no more than any other president out there did for me. So I'm not kin to him. I don't know him. So nothing that's said, good or bad, affects me. I'm not stepping up to the plate. He ain't finna send me no money, one way or the other. We're going to discuss it, and when this live is over, it's done. End the story. Good evening, Edward. Okay? So, there's some questions that still remain of his being guilty. Dip just came in and let us know that. What would the ex-president's punishment be, Dip, if he is convicted and they sentence him to prison? What do you think his punishment should be or would be? Good question, huh? Okay, there was falsifying business records in the first degree. That's a Class E felony in New York. The least serious category and punishable by up to 4 years in prison. That's the least serious of what he has been convicted of. So you think house arrest, huh? Tajista. I hate this lipstick, y'all. That means he can live in the quarters of the White House. He can't go outside the White House and his living quarters at the Capitol. None of that. Just the Capitol and the White House. That's it. That's all. Is that what you're saying, Tajista? He still have to go to answer the charges in Georgia. He's got a lot of answering to do. There's even some more charges out there with him and his niece about what she said. Her name is Mary. I guess she's Trump. It's just so much. And like I said, all piled up because you couldn't do nothing to a sitting president. So if the falsifying business records was a Class E felony in New York and it's punishable up to 4 years, imagine what all of these charges, even if he get hit with one of the other charges that's bigger than the smaller charge, it's still like, what are you going to do with it? His best bet is to win the nomination. That way, at least he know he's free for 4 more years. He ain't got to worry about this. He just go on and do whatever he wants to do. But if he doesn't win, that's when it's going to become a bigger problem for him, not me. Okay, Miss Alex says, please like, share, and subscribe. It's appreciated, and it sure is. Hit that like button up in the right-hand corner, the 3 dots, and thumb me up. Please share if you can. The judge and DA going to have answering to do as well. Perhaps. We don't know that. I mean, that's speculation. They may and they may not. Queen used very small amount Vaseline with the lipstick. I did. It's like it absorbed in. I put the lip shine that came with it, and then before, and it's just like it dries into the lips and it almost chaps the lips. And see, it's leaving off the bottom, and it's so dry it won't even rub down at the bottom. I don't like this. Um, okay, moving on. So his sentencing is set for July 11th. So before the summer is over, we should know something if it's not postponed. They can do that too. They can keep pushing it out past November to let him get in office. He has some power. He has some pull. And I'm sure he has the best of lawyers that he could find. It is, in my opinion, because he is a former president, has a Secret Service detail, and is a presumptive Republican nominee. I personally think incarceration would be logistically very difficult, but also would have political ramifications that I feel any judge would want to avoid. That's what y'all have been trying to tell me. In conclusion, any punishments is likely to consist of fines, probation, community service, or some combination of the above. I personally don't see him behind bars. Because, for one thing, he can take too many people down with him. The Diddy case, the R. Kelly case. That's why I don't see that. And they didn't have the power that he has. He has world power. Maybe some community service, fines, or probation. That's what I see. Can you see him picking up trash on the road, on a major freeway? No, ma'am, and no, sir. That is so beneath him. I think he would lay out that time before he would ever do anything like that. Public speaking, baby, for engagements, for different events on HIV or something like that. Yeah, I can see that. But never, ever doing community work that is physical, no. The Supreme Court will expedite and hear the case, I bet. We'll see, CK. We don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait on July the 11th. And then once July the 11th comes, then we may know the sentence. Depending on whether they set it back or not. So we'll just have to wait and see. I respect how Ms.V, like myself, is diplomatic about topics, tactful. I research everything myself using no brand, non-leaning sources. I find the truth is far off from what's served. To just is saying hack, no. Wait a minute, did I miss something? You agreeing with me, Queen? Like, share, and subscribe, please, to my channel. It's in the chat. Thank you, Alex. I guess not. Trump will pay someone else to pick up the trash. Oh, okay. Trash, not. Okay. Okay. That's the way I feel, too. That's beneath him. It ain't gonna happen. Okay. The judge will be looking for some type of remorse. Again, not likely to happen. Judges also consider the harm done. It could also be looked at the way his conduct, how he performs in the courtroom. And how much harm did it cause anybody else? It's different things that judges look at. Trump's conduct has inflicted deep harm on the entire country, by depriving the voting public of their right to cast an informed vote in the highest ranking national election. The election just passed, where he was saying that the votes was rigged and all this stuff, and they found it to be not true. That hurt America there in many ways. Even though he didn't get in office, a lot of people are not going to trust the system anymore because just of what he said, especially if you like him and you believe in him. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Hunter Biden's case now. For sure, I think his trial starts in 2 weeks. I don't really care too much about Hunter Biden and his trial and whatever went on there because he's not the president of the United States. And if you into that in politics and who shot John and why, it's okay. I didn't even know anything about his trial. I knew that he had been accused and convicted of some things, but this is about a president that has been seated in office. And what has been going on in the news with him and him alone. Nobody else but him. Nobody else was on trial but him. Nobody is to be convicted but him. So, when my subscriber wanted me to talk about it, that's why I keep telling you I waited, because I wanted to see what the judge and the jury were going to do. So now I didn't want to push her off to July when I found out that the sentencing date is going to be like July the 11th. Then she probably would have felt I'm avoiding it. I can talk about anything I want to on my platform. Nobody tells me what to talk about. I pick and choose topics of interest to everybody. You can have your opinion. It doesn't matter, especially when it comes down to this. We don't have to serve. I don't have to serve. So if he goes to jail, he goes to jail. Everybody else go to jail when they do something wrong. So he can too. That's the way I look at it, because that's the way it is. All right. Hello, Ralph. How you doing? That's right. You want him locked up? We'll see, Ralph. I totally agree with you, but Trump and his entourage will be watching since it's a sitting president. Of course. Of course. There are people out here. There are people on my platform today. You can tell they were Trump supporters, and you can tell they voted for him because of how they worded things when they said they took up for him. This wasn't even about that. I pick out on things real easily, but it doesn't matter to me. People this is democracy where you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. You can be a Republican. You can be a Democrat. It doesn't matter. Facts, Ms.V, your topic is respected. Thank you, Alex. Okay. Ralph is like, that's right. Okay. So, Trump's attorneys could have opted out to ask the judge for a misdemeanor of falsifying business, but they didn't. Now, why didn't they opt out when they could have? See, you got to look at the portrait. Forget the picture. This is a portrait. This is concerning the whole wide world. The United States is allies and how we interact with other countries. Okay, so that's a question that I posed. Why didn't they opt out when they could opt out? Now, some of the Trump supporters in here should be able to tell me that. That's it. I'm trying to find Rafa saying that's right. I totally understand and respect that. Okay, CK. We all on the same page. We agree to disagree over here. I don't care who you voted for, who you didn't vote for, or who you vote for the next time. Either way it go, I gotta live with it. Whether it's Trump or whether it's Biden, I still gotta live with it. Okay? Hey, Ken, how you doing? Both the prosecutors and his lawyers will submit recommendations. This is how they're going to do the sentencing, okay? So both the prosecutors and his lawyers will submit recommendations for sentencing along with the probation office, who will submit a confidential pre-sentencing report for the judge, which will probably take several months. Again, there's more time involved moving on into November. So if the sentencing comes up on the 11th, he still has time for appeals. And those take a while. If he put it in, they got to give him that time to appeal. He's got time on his side. Now, how it turns out, I don't know. The appellate process will take months. Also, even years to play out. He's not the only one. It's plenty of people in court. That's why when you live in areas where it's overly populated with people, it takes you time to get through the system. People can walk around here for 2 or 3 years before they actually are indicted and go to jail. Same thing in New York. Look at the amount of people. They have more people that live in New York than live here in the whole big state of Texas. And it's the biggest state in the United States. We're more populated with land mass than people. But yet, and still, it still takes a long time to get into court here in Texas. Gina, rest in peace. Talk to Michelle Obama's mom. Why would you want me to talk to Michelle Obama's mom? And who's resting in peace? I think you need to leave. All right. Bye. I'm Jerry from Texas. Love you. Take care. Okay, North South. Thank you for coming in. You are correct. Look at his document case. They're dragging that on and on. And he can. He has that right to do that. He has lawyers. If I can figure all this stuff out, and I know the legal system well enough to know what can do, you don't think his lawyers, who probably been practicing for years on high profile cases like this, don't know? Oh, yeah. Now, whether he goes along with it is another thing, too, because Trump does what Trump wants to do. And we've all seen that. And no matter what he's told, if that ain't what he want to do, he ain't doing it. Okay? In the meantime, we, the American people, would foot a big bill, and he will go on with his life and his wife. And that will be the end of it all, folks. I love Ms.V's vibe. I enjoy her open-minded, tactful way. I know for me, my experience that I don't share often taught me the crooks are behind the curtain. It's the Wizard of Oz, this world. That's from Auntie Millie. Ralph is giving me that thumbs up. Robin, I would like to know if a state trial is allowed to try a federal case. No. If it's federal, it's federal. If it's state, it's state, Robin. I thought that was against the judicial produce? You mean process? It is. He's been tried on different charges. Some of them are state charges and some of them are federal charges. That's why I think you're getting confused. It's not state being allowed to do a federal case. He has 34 different charges. So some of them are state and some of them are federal, depending on which charge it is. You'd have to go up back and look at each charge and see whether the state is doing it or whether the federal is doing it, Robin. So speaking to all again who entered the building tonight, I am going to read a few comments, which I have been reading the comments that y'all have been given. I tried to keep up so I wouldn't have to just wait to the very end and then just go back through and then don't remember what the comment was all about. Because sometimes I do that and I'll be like, y'all don't make complete sentences, and I'll be like, I don't know what they talking about. But anyway, I think I've caught up and read all the comments. And we will go on paying the costs for these trials to go on. We'll continue to pay taxes and our taxes will continue to go up. Nothing's going to change. Whether he goes to jail or whether he doesn't go to jail, nothing much in our lives is going to change. Whether he gets in office or whether he doesn't get in office, nothing much is going to change. If you look at history of presidents, when things were bad and you got a president in there who tried to go and correct things or make things better, he didn't do it in 1 year. He didn't do it in 2 years. He did it from the third year on through that fourth. I don't know if it took him that long to get familiar with the senators and the congressmen who passed these laws, who have to vote on these laws. I don't know if he was that familiar with foreign policy. It's a lot involved with the president, because he really ain't gonna do nothing that the senators and the congressmen don't let him do. They really have the final word, and the voters. He presents the bill, but it don't necessarily mean they're gonna pass that bill. North South, thank you for coming by. Please subscribe and hit that button. Amanda, 2024, nobody can stop on, what is that? Magadon. But it's up to you to believe in Jesus Christ. Okay. God is in charge. Vote. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to tell people who to vote for, Amanda. No, we're not. You can time her out on that. People are going to vote for who they want to vote for. If they choose to vote for Trump, they can. And if they choose to not vote for him, they don't have to. Okay? We're not speaking on voting at all. We're talking about convictions. Thank you for the coming over and whatever you said, okay? $ Vieta Brown. We also have super chat, super stickers, and super thanks. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Alex, for letting them know that. Writing. I think I have got down to almost the bottom. Wade is timed out also. Thank you, Alex. I don't know why you want to bring Jesus Christ over here today. We keep Jesus Christ in our hearts every day, so we don't need you over here promoting him, because he promotes himself through us. Okay? Go to a religious channel and do that over here. Today we're talking about the Donald. I just see breaking news on him. Just came across my phone right then. Okay, so like I said, nothing is going to change. Exercise your right to vote, exactly, for who you want to vote for. And a lot of them coming over here talking about vote Trump. They don't even vote. They ain't even registered. That's what kills me. They be so Trump, or Biden, but you ain't even registered. Make sure you go out there now and register to vote. Don't wait up until November. It'll be a little late sometimes, okay, because they do have a cutoff date. Make sure you have a way to the polls. Those are the things you could be doing for yourself right now, since you, so into whichever one you're into. It doesn't matter. Be registered to vote. Be able to say, I voted for him. Honestly. I got my ride to the poll. Okay? Let's see. Candace is saying facts to you. And indeed, Ralph, yes, register to vote. Well, that's about all I had, folks. What's going on in the news? Like I said, one of my subscribers wanted me to talk about it. I tackle any and every situation. But sometimes it takes me a while because I know how I want to present it. Unbiased. Doesn't matter to me. When the conviction happens, it happens. If he go to jail, he go to jail. If he don't go to jail, he don't go to jail. And that's just the way it is. Please hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary this afternoon. I am going to the pool party and I will be enjoying myself. Queen posts pics on the community wall. See, the only thing about that posting pics, it's a lot of people down there that don't want to be on social media. So I would have to go ask everybody, is it okay if we take a picture so I can post it on my community wall? That's a little much, Justin. But anyway, y'all, I have enjoyed y'all this evening. I will not be back out because I will be at the pool party enjoying myself. And y'all take care until we meet again. Much love to you. I will be out this weekend also. Because I don't have to go to work. School is out anyway. Enjoy the party. Love to see you again. Thank you. Thank you, Alex, for coming in, moderating you and Chef back and who Auntie Millie. Y'all hit that like button up in that right hand corner. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Edward. I'm out.